Welcome back to the Pagan Hearth community. In just under 2 weeks, on May 1st, we arrive at Beltane. That will be our focus next week. But today, we turn our attention to something that will coincide with it this year. The first full moon of May, what is often called the flower moon. Now that name, the flower moon, comes to us from the Old Farmer's Almanac, drawn from various Native American seasonal observances. It's a poetic name, but it's not merely poetic. It's observational. It marks a reality. Across the land, this is the moment when growth becomes undeniable. Fields that were bare now carry color. Branches that were skeletal now carry weight. What was hidden beneath the soil now insists on being seen. For some, this is just a shift in mood, a softening, a brightening. But for those of us that walk the path of the ancestors, this is not a feeling, this is a summons. Here at the Pagan Hearth, we do not just admire the blossoms as passive observers. We recognize them for what they are. Proof of labor, proof of endurance, proof that what was done in the dark has taken root. Everything you see in May was earned in winter. And that brings us to the heart of the moment. This is the turning from the inward to the outward, from preparation to manifestation. When we look to the bronze map of time left to us by the Celtic Gauls, the Coligny Calendar, this lunar cycle falls within the month of Giamnos, winter's end. Not the first thaw, not the hopeful hint of spring, the end. The threshold has been crossed. The light half of the year has begun in earnest, and there is no going back. And this matters because it reminds us of something modern spirituality often tries to forget. There is no abundance without hardship, no bloom without frost, no harvest without hunger. If you do not prepare in winter, then spring will reveal that very plainly. And now is the time to correct it. The flower moon does not reward inattention, it reveals results. There is another layer here worth addressing as well. According to the system popularized by Robert Graves, this is the Willow moon. Now, whether or not you accept that framework as historically precise is not the point. The symbolism holds. The willow tree is a tree of the threshold. It grows where water meets the earth, in the boundary between stability and change. It does not resist the storm like the oak. It yields. It bends. And because it bends, it survives. But do not mistake that for weakness. The willow is not passive. Its roots are invasive, relentless, searching. They push outward, downward, into every crack where water might be found. It adapts above so that it may conquer below. And that is the lesson. Flexible strength. Not rigidity, not collapse. Adaptation with purpose. To live as the willow is to pursue what sustains you with absolute determination while accepting that the form of that pursuit must change with the season. Now let's speak plainly. Spirituality that lives in the mind is a hobby, aesthetic, conversation, identity, but not faith. A living faith requires the hands. It requires the body. It requires action that leaves a mark on the world around you. And so as we approach the flower moon, I'm not giving you reflections. I'm giving you work. Traditionally, willow has been used to ward against storm and misfortune. If you have access to a willow tree, publicly or with permission, seek out a fallen branch. Do not cut from a living tree unless you have both the need and an offering. If Willow is not available, use what it is. Find some water, a stream, a pond, even a collected barrel of rain. Dip the branch and walk around the boundary of your home, not casually, deliberately. Mark the perimeter. As you do, you will speak a prayer, not one of them improvised in the moment, but one you have written down. This matters because intention is not enough. Decision is what gives intention weight. Write the words. Choose them carefully. Refine them. Edit. Memorize them if you can, but carry them with you regardless, just in case. And as you asperge the boundary of your home, you are doing more than symbolism. You are establishing order. You are anchoring resilience. You are making a claim that what stands within this boundary will endure. Those of heathen tradition will recognize the name Milkamana, the Three Milkings Month. This was a time when cattle were so healthy, so well fed, the returning growth that they could be milked 3 times in a single day. That is abundance. Not imagined, but measured. So how do we honor it the same way our ancestors did? Through food. Prepare something using 3 gifts of the field: milk or butter, honey, grain. It doesn't need to be elaborate. Bread will do, porridge, oatmeal, something simple and real. But here's the part that matters. You don't keep it to yourself. You share it with a neighbor, with multiple neighbors, with a food bank. Because abundance that is hoarded rots. Faith is not proven in private ritual. It's proven in what you give. Now, we come to something a little less comfortable. The flower moon this year is what astronomers call a micromoon, appearing smaller, more distant in the sky. And whether you take that as an omen or a coincidence, the lesson is useful. This is a time for attention to detail. Look at your life as a garden. What did you plant at the beginning of the year? Projects you haven't touched in months. Commitments you made but never followed through. Habits you told yourself you'd build. Not what you hoped for, what you actually set in motion. Now look at what is growing. Some of it is thriving. Some of it is struggling. And some of it is dead weight. Cut it. Prune it. Remove it from your life. Because every resource spent on something that will not bear fruit is stolen from something that might. This is not emotional work. It's managerial. Brutal if necessary. Because the season of excuse is over. This is the season of results. So now, we close as we should. Not with abstraction, but with address. Stand, if you are able. Feel the ground beneath your feet, and turn your awareness towards the light. Edane, shining one of the flower moon, we see you, not as distant admirers, but those who labor beneath your light. We do not ask for blessing without offering. We bring you work as proof of our devotion. By the strength of the willow and the wisdom of the hearth, let our actions be as visible as the bloom and as enduring as the root. We honor the earth, not as symbol, but as soil beneath our hands and ground beneath our feet. Let what we build be as worthy of the season We are the Pagan Hearth. Go out, put your hands in the dirt, make your faith visible. Let the flower moon illuminate your work, and keep the hearth fire burning. Good night.